Hi everyone, welcome to the latest episode or the latest version of DH Political Theatre. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the women vote in UP. First of all, before I introduce my guest to everyone who's watching, I'd like to first lay down a few facts. The first and the most important thing is that 47% of the voters in India's largest state, Uttar Pradesh, registered to vote are women. And uh, in the last 30 years, the number of women voters have steadily just increased. In 2012, in 2017, and even 2019, the number of women who voted in UP outnumbered men, which is something that we do not see so much. We usually do not see in the Indian political landscape. This particular year, the number of women who registered to vote in the upcoming UP elections were more than women. For 28.86 lakh women voters, we had 23.42 lakh male voters. But does that mean that more women are calling the shots in the UP government? They just take a look at another set of numbers. Only 40 MLAs in an assembly of 403 MLAs are women. So in this particular poll season, we have a lot of promises been coming up. But to start the conversation on those promises and those narratives, let's first introduce you to our guests. We have with us today Charu Pragya, National Spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. We have Zeba Yasmeen, National Spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. And we have senior political reporter, analyst, and commentator Arati, Jerath. And we will also have Sadaf Jafar. She's a candidate of the Congress Party, and she shot to the limelight during the anti-CAA protest last year. She's been given a ticket from Lucknow Central. So first of all, I'd like to ask this question to both Charu and Zeba ji. The first question I'd like to ask you is that what are the key poll offerings of your respective parties for women this particular poll season? Can you take us a little bit through that? Would you like to go first, Charu?
Sorry, Amrita, I think my connection was a little shaky. Could you please repeat the question? I just heard go first, Charu.
I was saying that what are the key poll offerings of both the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Samajwadi Party for women in this particular poll season? Can you take us a bit through that of the Bharatiya Janata Party?
Yes, absolutely. See, Amrita, I was loving the fact that when you were giving these figures, and there is this vast difference between the number of registered male voters and the number of registered female voters, it's lovely to see that women have become a much bigger stakeholders in the way governance happens, in the way that decision making happens. And there used to be a time not long back when women were told where to vote, who to vote for, and that is changing, and that's a wonderful thing to see. So anybody who wants to be in power in our country now, whether at the local level or at the national level, they have to understand that all their policies, all the work, they will have to keep women at the forefront because they have become the decision makers. So the way BJP has functioned, and I will take us back all the way to 7 years, is that we understand the role women play in nation building, the role women play in maintaining their families and society, and we have kept them centric to all our policies. I mean, you go back to Ujjwala Yojana, it's about women. PM Awas Yojana, the homes are registered in the names of women. It's a beautiful, simple thing. Imagine if a woman has a house to her name. It's life changing for them. So whether it is talking about their security, whether it is ensuring that there is going to be no eve teasing whenever they step out of the house, whether it is ensuring that maternal leave for them extends when they are working women, all of that has gone a long way to make PM Modi very popular with the other half of the population. And we have seen the numbers of votes which come his way be largely female as well. So I remember Bihar elections, and nobody expected that kind of a windfall of votes because women voters were largely silent. The same thing happened in 2017 Uttar Pradesh elections. So all the work that you do, whether it is discussed or not, When you make a home secure, it goes a long way in helping both the country and the political party which is governing that country.
Okay. Zeba, can you take us through the promises that Samajwadi Party has made for women voters this particular poll season?
Uh, Thank you so much, Amrita, for putting up such a nice and a lovely topic that we are speaking on. And here, it hardly matters what party we belong to. The common thing is that we all are talking for females and for the betterment of females. If we talk about 2012, when we formed government, women played very important role. And after that, we have been seeing that in 2014, 17, and 19, drastically, females have outnumbered men. And this is a very good change we have come through. And not only in UP, if we talk about Bihar elections, females, voted in a large number, and for Bengal. And Bengal has also set an example where females came out to vote and made the win. So this time also we are expecting, because number of females registered this time 28.3 lakh something. So it is a very good number, and believe me, females have started discussing whom to vote, because gone are the days when the males of family used to tell that this party is coming and you have to cast your vote here. But now even females discuss in their family, and if females want to have a better future, then they have to come and choose somebody for them. And if we talk about Samajwadi Party, if we talk about Uttar Pradesh, we have given for needy people, for females who are widow, for females who are a senior citizen, we have given Samajwadi pension 500 per month for their basic needs, for medication, medicine or something. But this time we are offering them 3 times because of the price hike, I would say. We are going to make it 3 times, and per month they are going to get 1,500. That means annually 18,000 for their personal expenses. It's not for the family, for their personal expenses. And for young girls, we are offering laptops for their education. We have Kanya Dhan for their education after 10th or 12th. And these kind of things we are offering. And for security, I would say, in 2012 regime in Samajwadi Party, we came up with 10 1090. Amrita, I would tell you, in UP it was a very big problem. This prank calls and blank calls and then eve teasing on phone was very common. Even I suffered in my teenage and later on as well. But after 1090 came, it is like on call. You don't have to go to any police station or something. On call, you can file a complaint, and then things are registered. So it has helped a lot. And then dial 100. I mean, it was just a blessing. Right now, also, I would say, the budget, when Bharatiya Janata Party came, it did not increase the budget, so we couldn't do much better in that. But whatever we did, dial 100. Within 10 or 15 minutes, you get the police help on your door. So this was a blessing to females. Like in domestic violence, I have seen many of my known people also taking help. Domestic violence, if at late night also you face any problem, any violence through your partner or something, you can call up dial 100 and instant you get help. So that was a blessing to UP people, and especially for females. So I would say we are going to offer much more. Let our Ghoshna Patra come, and we are having a good number of things for females and for farmers and everything. So soon we'll have it.
Okay. I'd like to go to Arati ji. Ma'am, the first question I want to ask you is, uh, why do you think there has been more women voters increasingly in UP, in a place like UP, over the last few years? Is there some way you can explain this phenomena to us?
No, it's a very interesting phenomenon, and we're seeing it not just in UP, but even in Bihar, which is another, backward state like UP. So it's quite interesting that in these backward states, women are coming out to vote in such large numbers. And I think the first time, I mean, if I go back in history to UP, the first time that women showed such an active interest in politics and actually came out in large numbers was, ironically, during LK Advani's Rath Yatra. And I remember at that time when his Rath was trundling through UP, the people following the Rath, there were huge numbers of women following the Rath, picking up, the sort of earth from, as his Rath passed, picking up, bits of the earth and putting it on their head, like a blessing. So, of course, it was totally driven by religious fervor. But the fact is that women came out in really large numbers, participated in that whole Rath Yatra, and made their presence felt. And I think from then on, it's just been going up and up and up and up. And of course, as you know, Mayawati became UP's first woman Dalit chief minister, which was a huge that was really shattering the glass ceiling. So and since then we've been seeing this thing, just this phenomenon just really bursting in UP, exploding in UP. So it's very, very interesting. And I think, obviously women now, I mean, if I go back to Bihar, which where first we saw this, whole thing happening of more women coming out to vote than men, it actually started with Nitish Kumar giving 50% reservation in panchayats for women. And that was again another sort of break, shattering of the glass ceiling. And the fact that so many women were represented in the panchayat and became decision makers, stakeholders in the way things were run in their villages, I think that gave a huge fillip to this whole concept of women's participation in politics. Of course, UP has not seen that 50% reservation, but clearly women are taking now a very keen interest. And, with parties offering all these Sops and freebies to girl students to encourage their education, to sort of, as, even Charu Pragya said, certainly the toilet initiative, toilet building initiative, the the Aghar Awas Yojana of the Prime Minister, the Ujjwala Yojana. These are all schemes, addressed at women. And I think women are beginning to realize that if they make their presence felt at the voting booth, then maybe political parties will actually take them more seriously, will do things to ease their lives, will do things to empower them, to help them, educate their girl children, and, give them a life which they hadn't had, say, decades before, when they were completely under the thumb of their men. So I think women are beginning to realize this, and this consciousness is clearly very acute in backward states, because it's in backward states that women are the most backward, and the only form of assertion they have really is when polls come around and they can go out there and stamp that ballot paper and, make their presence felt. So it's quite interesting that, you find this happening in a state where women's literacy levels are low, where women are quite backward. You don't find it so much in, say, states like Kerala and so on, where women are in any case highly literate and definitely much more empowered.
Okay. I think we have Sadaf joining us at some point. I'm not sure if she's still there. But are you there, Sadaf? I don't seem to see her. Okay. I'd like to take the question to. I'd like to take questions to both to Charu and Zeba now. First of all, Charu, the first question I want to ask you is that the BJP has been constantly criticized of curtailing different kinds of freedoms. And when we look at the number of MLAs, the number of women who are given tickets in the parties. I mean, the number of MLAs that we have in the current assembly is 40. Do you think that there's a lot more that the party can do in sort of in terms of like reaching out to the women who actually vote them to power? Because we know, we've been told this many times over and over again. We know that the BJP carries on service and it does post-poll service, and you look at the numbers and you realize that PM Modi's a huge chunk of his loyal voter base are made of women. So do you think that the party can do more?
So women are definitely the torchbearers of BJP's dream of dharma and development. And like I said, that's been proved time and time again when votes come BJP's way. But okay, I am also going to take a moment here to compliment Arati ma'am. I think she was absolutely fabulous the way she put all the facts forward, and I'm in complete agreement with her. Now, coming back to your question, Amrita, see, we also have to keep in mind the fact that we are a party which is one of the biggest parties and the first parties to have internal reservation for women. So our party posts everything, it's equally divided, and we have women in all key positions. We are also very proud of all our women ministers, and they've had fancy portfolios which have been considered a man's domain up till now, whether it is defense or finance. But when it comes to women's participation, I think I'm not going to be political now. I'm just going to say this like a woman first. We need a lot more participation. We need a lot more women stepping forward and be willing to contest elections. Because, a lot of times what happens is that even though party positions might have a reservation and we'll have women party office bearers, but election tickets are also given with the question of winnability in mind, right? So when there is a survey and the checks are done, I remember I'm just going to tell you a personal incident which happened just last week. And I was speaking to a very senior party official before the tickets were announced. And I said, sir, इस बार ना बहुत सारी महिलाओं को बिल्कुल ticket देना चाहिए. And he said, Charu, I'm in complete agreement with you. But a lot of time what happens is that, especially in a state like UP, surveys में महिलाओं के नाम उतना जल्दी आगे नहीं आ रहे हैं. So we'll have to activate the women cadre. We'll have to get them to be more active in society, to be out and about in programs. We have to encourage them more so that next time there is a survey, more number of names come forward. Also, even if we give tickets, it's quite possible that somebody who we gave a ticket to did not win, and probably a male ticket holder from some other party might have won in that place. See, that also tells me that so many times it is women who hold themselves back. So if they come forward, if they become more active in society, in political life, political parties will be leaping to give them tickets. I say this with a lot of confidence.
Okay, so Zeba, what I want to ask you is that, we know that a huge chunk of voters of the Samajwadi party are the Yadav votes, the OBC votes, and you also have a lot of the Muslim votes. So, I mean, for women from backward classes, for women from minority communities, do you think that your party has done enough? Do you think the number of tickets that have gone to women from these communities are enough? Or do you think that the party can do better in terms of engaging with more women in participating in governance?
Amrita, whatever we do for females, it is less only because we have to do a lot, right? Our party will give the tickets to female, but yes, on some point, I would say we should talk practical. Giving 50% reservation, 40% reservation, as Abhi Charu said, that total number of females in party matters. Is it 40%? It is not. If the presence of female members are not there in the party up to the mark, how can we give 40 or 50% tickets to the females? We can't give the tickets to lose, right? See, first we have to make an ambience in the party to invite more females. When we have more females, then only we can give tickets to female. But right now, when we talk about any political party, the percentage of females working in a political party is not up to 30, 40 or 50%. It is very less. So we have to work on it. We are working. Our women wing, the national president Juhi Singh, she's working on it. We are making many new members, adding people to here. So the point of giving tickets, that what Mani Adhyakji said, Rashtriya Adhyakji Akhilesh Yadav ji said, that we cannot give tickets just for the sake of formality and just to please somebody and they lose. No, we cannot do that. After forming government, we can give them better positions so that we can invite more females. Because I don't want to comment anything on Congress, because whatever they are doing, it's good. But do they have enough female workers so that they can give 40%? That will be an injustice to men also, Amrita, practically speaking. If you don't have that much of females, total number of percentage, and then you're giving it to, it is injustice to the males also, who have been working since decades. So somehow, first priority is to bring more females into the party. Then we can talk about, then we'll fight with our own party also. We have the freedom to fight. Even Akhilesh ji gives us a lot of freedom. So we have the freedom, we can fight, and we can fight internally for our rights. But first, we have to come forward to bring more females into politics, and we have to, change the scenario and mindset of the people that politics is not meant for females. Females like us, from a good family, very educated, we are coming into politics, and we have to change the mindset first. And we are working on it a lot. We are getting a lot of support from Akhilesh ji, and we are the female wing, the women wing is doing a lot in Uttar Pradesh.
Well, about the question on women getting more tickets, I would have asked Sadaf if she was here, but she seems to not have. She connected for a bit and she went off. But the thing is that the Congress has been, has been praised and criticized both on the grounds that it gave tickets to women in a state like UP, but it skipped not giving it in a state like Punjab, where it really has a.
Yes, it was just 8 tickets. I just wanted to mention that, Amrita. Sorry, Arti ma'am, I'm just going to take 30 seconds. See, most of the times women become trophies, right? They just become a number to show off. And till we don't move beyond that mindset, there is no women empowerment happening for real. That is what we have to keep in mind. And that's why I said that we have to create a conducive atmosphere for more and more women to join politics. And we have to also at the same time work in society to make the leadership of women more acceptable to people. See, it works both ways. You cannot just say that, oh, we gave a ticket to XYZ and but it doesn't matter to us whether she wins or loses because humne to dikha diya number ticket dekar. So that's exactly what I meant when I said that society also has to become more accepting of women leaders. They have to be more willing to vote for women leaders. And this whole tag of lady politician, woman leader, that has to be done away with eventually, because till we keep dividing our leaders on the basis of gender, I think we'll always be struggling to be giving women a genuine voice.
Okay.
And as you rightly pointed out, in Uttar Pradesh, Priyanka Gandhi ji made a promise of 50%, gave 40% of the tickets. They're not going to win any, actually. See, that makes it easier for her to hand out these tickets like candy. But in Punjab, where they are hopeful of winning a couple more seats, they have not given any tickets. What does that show about Priyanka Gandhi?
Ma'am, Arti ma'am, I want to ask you this question. When we're discussing the number, all we're discussing tickets and we're discussing the sops that every party gives. The most important question that we should actually, try and look at is, why do women vote for? What is that they look for when they vote? So can you help us understand why women in a state like, in a North Indian state like Uttar Pradesh, vote for? What are they looking for when they're participating in democracy by registering to vote, by registering their vote?
Well, I think very clearly women look for the same thing that men do. Anything that makes their lives better, anything that makes their lives more comfortable, anything that, so whether it is jobs, whether it's houses, whether it's security, whether it's, the right to education, the facility of, going to school and getting educated and then getting a job. I think that's what women look for. And just like men do, they look for the same thing. So, I think it's, and the fact that now women are being singled out for some of these, sort of SOPs, like, the Ladli scheme in Delhi, or the cycles that, are being handed out in various states to girl students who go beyond class 10, and so on and so forth. These are the things that make it easier for women to go to school. But, Amrita, I'd just like to make one point. It's all very well. And just to go back to the, conversation you were having with the two political representatives, it's all very well to talk about making women acceptable and building women, getting more women into the party and building women leaders. That's a process that may take 100 years. Okay. I think what is really important, and this is really the time to discuss this, particularly since Priyanka Vadra has brought in this thing of 40%, tickets to women. I think it is time really to resurrect that women's reservation bill and ensure reservation for women both in parliament and in the state assemblies. Reservations in panchayats has been a huge breakthrough for women in politics. And in the beginning, of course, people were getting their wives to contest, as the wives were the kind of front for their husbands, or the daughters were the kind of front for the father, or whatever. But over a period of time, a lot of these women panchayat leaders have emerged as good politicians, good leaders, and survey after survey have shown that actually these women panchayat leaders do much more for their people, their villages, than their male counterparts, because they are much more attuned to the needs of people, like drinking water, like roads, like toilets, like basic facilities of health, education, medical care, and so on. So I think that if you push this thing of 33% reservation for women in parliament and in state assemblies, you will automatically, over a period of time, create a crop of women leaders who will become acceptable and who will make this whole concept of women in politics a much more acceptable and common feature, which is what we really need to do. I'm actually, in principle, not a great votary of reservations, but on this score, I think, having seen the way this reservation thing has worked for women in the panchayats, I think that it is time we did this at a higher level in politics as well. And that's really going to be a breakthrough if we can get that through.
Absolutely. We have a few questions from, we have a few comments and questions from people who are who posted on our social media. We have someone called Mr. Hanan Mohammed, who has, I think, posed a question to Charu on YouTube. He's saying that beside the photo op, what has the current government done for the protection of women, also with lower caste women and minorities? This lists 3 examples. You're on mute, Charu. Sorry, you're on mute.
Apologies. Right. So I can list many more, but I will list my 3 favorite. The first one is Ujjwala, of course. The reality of Ujjwala, the narrative of Ujjwala goes much deeper than what people living in cities or using laptops and computers can understand. That's my favorite one. The second one, which I think is fantastic, is Mahila Police Volunteers. That has done a lot for women's security. The third one is registering the homes, the low-cost housing, PM Awas Yojana homes in the names of women. I think, like I mentioned it before, that's my favorite thing, and that has done wonders for women's security in our own home. Going on from there, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao has shown us results on ground. We have seen the sex ratio changing, so much so that women know that they are a part of the democratic process now, and the registration of them to vote in UP elections is higher than that of men. I can go on. Let me know, Amrita, how much time I have. May I?
Yes, please go on.
Okay, so Nari Shakti Puruskar, when you honor women, more and more women look at them and they get inspired and they want to start doing things which is similar. Another thing is that working women's hostel the government has come up with, that helps women to work and stay in a secure place. Swadhar Gre, a scheme for women who are living in difficult circumstances. Even what else? Okay, helping women who have been victims of trafficking, of sexual exploitation. That is a separate scheme in place. So this government entirely understands that when you bring up the second half of our population, which has been at a disadvantage for a very long time, the country is going to progress as a whole. Amrita, sorry, my next debate call is continuously ringing. My apologies. So, with your permission, can I just switch? I'm sorry to be leaving early, but it's wonderful as usual to be with you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Zeba, the last question that I want to ask you is about the image that the Samajwadi parties had in the past. How do you think for younger voters, are you going to shrug off the image of a party in which you've had leaders who've said some very sexist comments? So, I mean, to reach out to a new amount of voters, in 2019, and then again now, we've had a lot of first-time voters. We've had a lot of younger voters. Most of them are women. So how do you reach out to them and tell them that we are not the party anymore, which had these dated and sexist comments about people, about women. So how do you reach out to them?
Amrita, I would like to answer a question first, but Charu has left. I wanted to reply her back, whatever point she gave. If you give me 30 seconds, I would like to, raise some questions, what she
Sure,
pointed
please.
out. Because see, being a female, I also reside in UP, so I can tell you the problems. The Ujjwala Yojana she was talking about, one cylinder was given free of cost to the females, underprivileged females, but the cost of cylinder right now is above 1000, so I think nobody is able to refill it. Second thing, she told that women police volunteers, yes, some pink booth have been made on the road at every crossing, and if you go and check out, nobody sits there and nobody is available. Recently, in last year, if I tell you, in 2021, one pregnant woman, she was there being molested on road, and there was no female. It is about Lucknow, the main city, and nobody was there to help her out. And beti bachao beti padhao, if you talk, you must have also read in the articles and the reports that have come that 79% of the budget has been spent of advertisement. So the 21% was spent on actual beti padhao beti bachao, so I don't think we got anything. Now coming to the thing, see, digging the past wouldn't solve the matter, but still I would like to clarify that Mulayam Singh ji's statement that बच्चों से गलती हो जाती है has been exaggerated at a long, and it was shown in a negative thing. But let me clarify, Amrita, it was said in some other context, at a level when in India, capital punishment, people were speaking against capital punishment in rape case. And it was not only Mulayam Singh Yadav, many big leaders from BJP, Congress, some leaders, they were against capital punishment in rape case, because they said if there's an only child who's a rapist, and if he hang him, then obviously who will look after the family? So बच्चों से गलती हो जाती है, what about their family? So this was the whole narrative, which was only one sided was shown, not the entire sentence. So that was the point. But still, yes, I am a person who would always accept pros and cons both. Our party have been defamed for some things, and we are working on it. Mani Akhilesh ji is a young emerging leader, and we are working. I have seen for the past 6 years, I've seen a drastic difference. That is why I'm sitting and representing my party. So I have seen a drastic difference in the environment we are given in the party, the kind of people we are working with. So I can assure on my part that females will get a very safe and secure place to work with Samajwadi Party, and we are working on a lot of issues. And you'll get a lot of things this time in our manifesto, that we are going to do a lot for females in Uttar Pradesh, and we'll be encouraging them to go in every sector, in fact, in politics as well. So that is our motive.
Okay, so with that, we hope that more parties in the upcoming elections in Uttar Pradesh do more for women. We hope that there are more offerings for women. We hope there are more tickets for women, and we hope that parties who are giving tickets to women en masse, like the Congress is giving 40% tickets to women. I hope that those women who have been given tickets make their mark and their presence felt. And with that, we come to the end of today's episode. I'm very thankful to both Arati ji and Zeba ji for joining us today. Please leave your comments and like and share and subscribe and follow our social media pages. Thank you so
Sure,
much.
sure. Most welcome.
Thank you.